Senegal says it will be sending more than 2,000 troops to help back the Saudi-led intervention in Yemen. This would bring the total number of countries in the coalition to 11. Nicolas Haque has more from Senegal's capital, Dakar.
This announcement made by the foreign minister to a handful of MPs at the National Assembly comes as no surprise. Just weeks ago, the president of Senegal, Macky Sall, was in Saudi Arabia. He was there to try to raise funds for his ambitious $21 billion plan to turn Senegal into a middle-income country. Of course, Senegal has a wealth of experience when it comes to peacekeeping operations, but under a UN mandate, soldiers of Senegal are in Mali, DRC, and a number of other conflict zones throughout Africa. But nowhere does it have 2,100 troops, and that's the big surprise. The announcement that 2,100 troops, commandos, paratroopers, members of the armored division were going to be deployed with the Saudis along the Saudi-Yemen border. That's the big announcement here. Now, the official reason given was that Senegal, as a Muslim-majority country, had an obligation to protect the Muslim holy sites that are in Saudi Arabia. No announcement yet to when this is going to take place, and we're expecting the president to make some sort of statement to give us a precise date on when these troops will be deployed to Saudi Arabia.
Lawrence Korb is a senior fellow at the Center for American Progress and former U.S. Assistant Secretary of Defense. He explains why a sub-Saharan nation like Senegal would want to join the coalition against the Houthi rebels.
Well, I think two reasons. One, because they don't believe in what the Houthis are up to. But the other is the Saudis are obviously going to give them an awful lot of money for doing this. Remember, they tried to get Pakistan, and the executive branch seemed to indicate it, but then the parliament would not approve it. And the last thing the Saudis want to do is put their own troops on the ground. And I think Senegal hopes that if there is, if they can stop the violence, they can be part of the peacekeeping mission. Again, you might get some of the other, poor countries in the region who might be willing, to do something like Uganda, which has troops in Somalia right now fighting, being financed pretty much by the United States. You can't win just by air power. There's no doubt about it. The real question is there going to be a negotiated solution or a pause in the bombing so they can let supplies in? But I think the Saudis recognize, and I know the United States is putting pressure on them, they're losing in the court of world opinion. I mean, Human Rights Watch pointed out yesterday that they had used cluster munitions as we had sold them, there, even though the world basically has banned the use of cluster munitions.